today let's talk about the container exercise. It's something that we do in EMDR, and we talked about it. And so you mentioned you use it with your clients, and you'd like them to have a video if they wanted to learn more about it or to practice it. So why don't you tell us a little about it, what the container exercise is?
Okay. The container exercise is something that we could use that taps into our brain's natural capacity to set things aside that we don't need right now or that we can't give our focus to. And so, container can be helpful sometimes. For example, if you have that thought going on in the brain or you have that emotion going on and it seems like it's almost cyclical and you don't have anywhere to put it, so to speak, right? So, it's kind of in the forefront of your mind. So the brain, you could direct the brain with a task. You can tell it what to do, so to speak. And so what the container method does is it gives us a place to put these things, thoughts, ideas, images, emotions, until we have time to focus on them and pay attention to them to see what it is that we can learn from them. And so the way we set up the container is to ask if there was something that could hold
Well, can we just do
any
it?
kind of
Why don't we do it right now with me?
okay, all right. So Jordan, if I were to ask you to come up with a container
Okay.
that could hold anything that's upsetting or disturbing to you until you could come back and focus on it, what might that container look like?
For me, a brown box. Or how about
A brown
no, I
box.
got a cookie jar came in. A cookie
Okay, a
jar
cookie jar.
that has little bears coming around it, and it's an old one that we
Uh-huh.
used to have with had a hat on it. So okay.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah, so I'm glad your mind already came up with something so vividly. So I'm going to ask you to just look at the cookie jar and see if you could just notice it in detail for a couple more seconds and just get a picture of it in your mind's eye of exactly what that cookie jar looks like.
Okay.
And so now what I'm going to ask you to do is bring up the image of the cookie jar and then just say these words to yourself. I wonder if there's anything I could set aside that I don't need right now. And I wonder if I could just set that aside into the cookie jar. And then tell me what you notice.
Okay. Well, it did seem like something was streaming into the cookie jar. Um,
That is
Weird.
something I hear so common.
Okay.
I've seen people do this. It feels like something's coming out of my head. I've heard people talk about streaming, such as you just shared.
Yeah, streaming.
And I've also heard people say, I feel a sense of release in my head or in my chest.
Okay.
And so, well done.
Should I put the lid on the jar? On the jar.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Just make sure the lid's there.
Okay.
And just know that you could come back to that at any point in time. Or you can leave it there. And your brain will pick back up what it needs when it needs it. So an example of that is what's 5 times 5?
25.
And when is the last time you did your multiplication tables?
Oh, a month ago with my
Ah,
grandson.
and so, yeah, yeah. And so your body has the capacity to store what you don't need right now and then pick it back up when you need it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
And so
example.
that's what we're giving the brain a place to store stuff. And if you need it, believe me, it'll come back up. You can pick it up. Your brain will retrieve it. So that's a container activity. Next time, if you like, what we could do is we could focus on safe state,
Okay.
a follow-up activity for the container. If you like, we could do that.
Sounds good. Thanks, Debbie.
You're so welcome.
All right.
Okay, so how was
I
that?
think that was good. I think that was real good. And then, yeah, we can do the container next time. I mean, the safe state next time.
Yeah, because what I was thinking we could do is we could just have them do the butterfly tap.
You're right. And I think having me
So
do
they
it
could,
like that would be okay, right? I mean, so
yeah,
you
yeah.
do it with
We'll teach
me.
them the, yeah. We'll teach them the butterfly tap and also introduce the puppy dog tails. So we could do that. With the disclaimer, if anything comes up, make sure you go see a therapist.